We are now live. What up, what up? Now, it's been a minute since I did one of these live interviews or, podcasts. Today we are going to join Mr. Juan Gonzalez, owner and operator of Urban City Barbershop. If you can see if there's like a request button.
There we go.
Mr. Senor Don Juan,
What's up, brother?
how you doing,
How we
sir?
doing this
Can you hear
evening?
me?
I can hear you
Can you
loud
hear
and
me
clear.
clearly? Awesome. I'm doing great. Thank you. Thank you. How are you doing?
Trying to live our best lives, right?
I hear you. Yes, sir. So what's going on? What's going on with El Senor Juan? How's business? How's family? How's life treating you after the pandemic?
I've heard a lot of people say, even myself, I've said I can't wait till we get back to normal.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, truthfully, like there ain't no getting back to normal. There's going to definitely be a new life, a new way of living, better said,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I'm okay with that. You know what I mean? Uh, we have to adjust, and we have to
Mm-hmm.
continue to grow into who we're supposed to become. And if anything, if I learned anything from the pandemic and the shutdown and um, just being, left in the dark and everybody kind of like with their hands up, wondering what was going to happen and what was next, is that we can't sit around and wait
Mm-hmm.
to see, what the government's going to hand out or who's going to give us what or who's going to help us out. I mean, I'm a firm believer in always trusting in God and
Definitely.
continuously moving forward. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But I seen you. The pandemic ain't stopped you at all, man. You over there. You over
uh,
there working on building your empire, brother.
uh,
Congratulations.
I
Hardest.
highly
You are
appreciate
the
that.
hardest, bro. You are the hardest. You are one of the hardest working men in San Antonio, if not in the state of Texas. If not one of the hardest working Mexicans in the world.
That to hear that from you, honestly, that it's very humbling, and I, I basically I just get it from my dad. I get it from my dad, the work ethic, and just individuals like yourself who have inspired me throughout the years. You have amounts of knowledge and just the drive and dedication of building a brand and being consistent and being of service definitely does help. And then purpose, like you had mentioned before, definitely does play a big factor. Um, but man, that's I have no words. But thank you. Gratitude. I'm very thankful for that. Very humbling.
Well, thank you for even considering that I've had any part in your success. Honestly, I think it's been all you uh, that's created that. You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
if anything, you've inspired me. As I can't let these young bucks outwork me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's definitely true. Pandemic wise, I mean, we can, interject. We can go back and forth, asking each other questions, of course. But if you don't mind, what effects took place with your business? Um, we'll start off, during pandemic. What obstacles did you have to face during those times?
Well, my biggest worry was feeding my family,
Hmm.
and once I figured that out, I was like, I'm good. You know what I mean? We
Hmm.
we created a super tight budget, and
Hmm.
you know what I mean, and stuck to it. Two, my second worry was my was was my family from home. I mean, from work. You know what I mean? All the guys that worked for me. I just want to know that they were okay. The good thing is that one of the things that we teach as soon as we hire them is like, hey, where are you at debt wise, and let's put a plan together to get out of that. The reason I bring that up to them, it's not to get into their business, but it's to help them navigate through anything. You could be making $100,000, $200,000 a year, $300,000 a year. So you can have a $25 million contract and play
Hmm.
in professional sports, and in 4 or 5 years be broke. So it
Yep.
has nothing to do with how much money you make. It has everything to do with, are you going to be the type of individual that's going to have the right mindset, and not only work on your professional life, but also in your personal life, and managing yourself, your behavior, your mindset, and being able to be disciplined to build instead of always looking at everybody else and pointing the finger and blaming someone for your own, shortcomings or flaws. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
So after I knew those guys were okay, and even though while we were shut down, I was always looking in ways, how can I create any type of sales? How can I produce some money? How can I help them? If they need my help. The good thing is they helped me more than I could even help them. They had all put together money, and had an emergency fund, and they were able to ride through it without worrying about anything. I mean,
That is awesome.
so that was a good thing, and we still helped each other out, though. You know what I mean? Wherever we
Hmm.
could, give a lending hand, we did. But I guess the biggest obstacle for me was sit down and do nothing. If it were too much.
Okay.
But
Yeah,
that's
because
why I told you last
you're
time
definitely
I
not. You're
decided,
active.
let me get to work, man. And we formulated our own shampoos and conditioners for the beard, for the hair,
Hmm.
for
Yes,
silver
sir.
hair, and from the moment that we came back and brought it to the public, like,
Hmm.
it's been constant growth. In fact, my last order was 3 weeks ago. It landed, and the next day I reordered another order, and we sold out before the order ever came in. We're getting it in tomorrow, and I'll be ordering tomorrow another
That is
order
awesome.
before we even sell out. You know what I mean?
That is a
Before we
blessing.
even put it on the shelf. Like, so,
Yep.
just growing the that part of our business has been
Hmm.
a blessing. It's been a trial. It's been nerve wracking, and the good thing is that we continue to build, grow, and innovate. Last time you were out here at the house and taking care of my truck for me and detailing it,
Yes,
it
sir.
was one of the things that we
Hmm.
talked about. You know what I mean? You establishing your own brand of cleaning
Hmm.
products. Where are you with that? You over here asking me questions. Where are you with that?
Hmm. You're breaking up just a bit, Juan.
My question to you is: last time you were out here, we
Hmm.
had talked about you creating your own products.
Oh,
And
yes,
my
sir.
question to you is,
That.
where are you with that? It's
Uh.
been, what, about a good 6, 7, 8 months?
Yes. Yes.
Are you any closer to that?
No. 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 No
So I can't
live.
get no Javi car wash,
Car wash.
car
Yeah.
wax,
Yeah.
or nothing like that.
N-
No air
No, not
fresheners
at the
yet.
moment.
Come on,
No, not
man.
at the moment. Yeah, that is definitely intriguing. It's definitely could be another stream of income within, under the same umbrella. Um, you definitely brought an idea, especially when it came to either franchising the business or even teaching certain individuals about the business. When it came to like detailing training. So there, of course, there's a lot of ideas and opportunities, and we don't want to wait too long on them, of course, right? But I feel right now where I'm currently at in the point of my business is um, taking care of the workload. And again, it's like it's not the same as you're the conductor, right? And you're conducting the the orchestra, your band. You have your barbers, you have your team. All of that is solid. I'm still working in my business. I would like to also figure out a way how not just me physically work in my business, but how can I step back to work on my business, and then I can grow and expand.
Well,
So
one
that
of the
that
things that we talked about last time that I
hmm
think that you can do, it's no different than what we're doing. We're actually both
hmm
in the service industry, right?
yes,
So
sir.
you're servicing customers' vehicles,
hmm
right? Have you hired someone to do that? And if you are going to hire someone, you
hmm
should already have two, what's it called, units that can go do
hmm
that. And what you should be doing is
hmm
um, building the reputation and creating the desire from customers. So that way you create the bookings, you make the
hmm
phone calls, you send out the vehicles and the people washing the vehicle. And
yes,
then on
sir.
top of that, you go ahead and drive and supervise. It's okay to
hmm
trust people to do their job, but it's
hmm
also your job to supervise. So not only do you have to create
correct.
what's it called, those areas to hire the people to go do that, you also have
hmm
to build your new responsibility to the company. You should
hmm
never be. No one who's in business should ever think, "I just want to create a business, go lay on
hmm
the beach and collect money." You should
yeah,
always have an active role in your company. You know what I
correct.
mean? Uh, I wish I could be the chief executive officer and get paid for that for my business, but we can't
hmm
afford me right now, so I do
yeah,
that pro bono. I get
yes,
paid
sir.
as an assistant manager, as a janitor, as the
hmm
maintenance guy. You know
yes,
what I mean?
sir. Yep.
I have an active role because that's the only position that the company can afford me at. And
hmm
you know what I'm saying? So ultimately, as we continue to build, we believe in opening more locations, which will we be opening this summer or this August. I think August 1st, August 2nd, first week of August, we'll be opening up at the Galleria Mall in
hmm
Houston. And I'm going to be the acting store manager of both locations and also play the responsibility or the role of a regional manager, still in charge of research and development, still in charge of what's it called, education and creating our education department. I believe that along down the road, we will have our own individual education department with head of education who takes care of that. And I still will be involved in, hey, what are we developing for this
hmm
training or that training, or what do we need to learn, what do we need to bring in. I mean, it's
hmm
always being part of operations. And I think that eventually the CEO position is not even something that I even care about. I always want to be involved in
yep.
operations, so an operations officer, an operations manager, and be part of that. So when you're doing your thing, you have to always understand it's not okay. I don't have to wash cars anymore. You know what I
hmm
mean? Because I always hear barbers in our industry say, I don't want to be behind the chair
hmm
anymore. Okay, then what role are you going to play? You're just going to rent chairs,
exactly.
and what are you going to be doing, right? Or you're gonna
hmm
go do real estate? Why learn all this? Why gain all this experience and learn all this information to leave the industry that
yes,
allowed you
sir.
to grow, right? So
Exactly.
ultimately, always understand this. In business, you have to create the next position for yourself, promote
hmm
yourself to an active position that's going to hold not only yourself responsible and accountable to the business, but to also the people that you are training to become the next leaders. You know what I'm saying, and fill those active roles that you've created.
yes, sir. I agree with
You know
you
what I mean?
100%. That is a very that's awesome information. And definitely I agree with you 100%. And again, that's definitely in the position where I'm at. I currently I wouldn't say hire my cousin as an employee, but I brought him in as a partner. So I pay him as a partner. I pay him a certain, a percentage, a salary, and so there I am. Instead of me taking the workload all by myself, now I brought in, an extra individual, another pair of hands, and now we're working towards the next step. But definitely, I agree with you 100%. And as long as we're doing consistent progress, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how. It's not gonna, some things might not happen overnight. Some things not might happen next month or next year. But it's staying consistent, staying disciplined, and staying patient with the things that we're doing in our business, and that's what allows the business to grow and expand. Such as yourself, you've been in business for so long, since I believe '94, correct?
I've been in business since I was 10 years old.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the hustle has always been within
The
you,
hustle has always
but
been there, right? Hey,
yeah,
I want to say to the people that have stopped by, Amy Sauce, Modesta the barber, uh, and some
Big
named Keith.
Cone. I see the homie Big Cone down there.
Yeah, appreciate you guys stopping by and listening to this super old head and the future old head over here talking
Yes, sir.
like we know
Yeah,
something. Hey, but I'm gonna
yeah.
tell you one thing. Here, I've thought about what product you should have just in
Mhm,
talking to you, and because we've talked about coming out of the pandemic and
mhm.
what where we're at with our business. It definitely affected us, right?
Yes.
We had to buckle down. We even have gone against the hours that they were telling us that we should run. We should do
Mhm.
11 to 7. I
Yep.
had to tell the mall management, I said, I can't do 11 to 7. And then we went 10 to 9, and we went regular hours. In fact, we're the only store that's regular hours in the whole mall, and probably in every mall in the city, for sure,
Mhm.
right? And the
Mhm.
reason was because um, everybody is actively living their lives like, you know what I mean? Like nothing happened. In other words, what I'm saying is people are still waking up early. People still need to have what's it called? The opportunity to come in at
Mhm.
a more convenient time for them, and 11 to 7 wasn't cutting it for us. But all that
Mhm.
being said, now that it's after the pandemic, one of the things that we're still doing that we're not going to stop doing is all our customers need to come in, and we're going to do a temperature reading, not
Mhm.
because of corona, but because fevers and flus and anybody running a high temp can have an infection, and we don't want to pass that on to our barbers. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
of
And we don't
course.
want to get anybody sick, and we want to stay safe. The other thing
Mhm.
that we're going to continue to do that's not going to stop is that people are going to have to wash their hands before they get in the chair, barbers
Mhm.
and customers alike, right? So that being said, as you're out there, one of the things that I think that you should do, and you can get to any private label company, is get antibacterial wipes
Mhm.
with Hobby's Car Wash
Mhm.
logo on it, and say, "Hey, I
Mhm.
noticed that you don't have any antibacterial
Mhm.
wipes in your car. I got one of these for sale. It's
Yes,
only
sir.
$8. Would you like to buy one?"
Mhm. And
Right?
yep.
So there you go. There's your first product launch. Tell me how it
Yes, sir.
goes, and I would be
And
expecting
I'll send you a check
a
in the
case
mail.
for free, man.
No, that's definitely a good
Antibacterial
idea.
wipe for Hobby's Car Wash. I think that's the way
Yeah,
to go, brother.
yes, sir. I believe so. That the thing is just coming out with your first product, right? It doesn't have to be a line of products. I again, I'm very happy that your killer. I believe it's Killer Grooming or Killer,
Yeah,
right?
Killer Groom.
The Killer Grooming brand is doing very well. I love the logo. I love the line of
Thank
products
you.
that you have. But yeah, definitely, I believe the main thing is getting started. It's getting started and seeing how it goes from there, and not being afraid to get out of your comfort zone and whatnot. But
Everybody thinks
definitely,
that something has to be perfect before they launch
hmm
it,
exactly.
right?
Hmm.
And the truth is, just do the right research, put your best foot forward,
Hmm.
and have a real purpose. If your
Hmm.
purpose is to make money, then I believe that you're missing the point.
Yeah,
You know
exactly.
what I'm saying?
And 9 out of 10 times
If
ain't
it
gonna
has a
work out for
real,
you.
exactly, if it has a real purpose,
Hmm.
it's going to do what it needs to do. You know what I
Yes,
mean?
sir. I agree with you.
The funny thing, it's very different from from the clothing what's it called business.
Mm-hmm.
We did clothing for a long time, and we still do. In
Yep.
fact, when we converted over to the barbershop culture clothing line that we're putting out there, celebrating the culture and the history of barbering, right? We came out with one T-shirt, and we came out with one T-shirt because some guy from Plano, Texas, said, "Hey, do you have that on the T-shirt?" And I was like, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "That logo, that Urban City Barbershop logo with those
Mm-hmm.
cross blades, which is this one." He goes,
Mm-hmm.
do you have that on the logo?" I was like, "No, but why would you want a barbershop T-shirt for?" You know what I mean? To
Yeah.
me, it was a strange ask. Well,
Yeah.
anyway, it was the beginning of what it's turned into. And now that people are traveling and getting out again and
Mm-hmm.
just trying to get out the house, and the beautiful thing about San Antonio is uh, we are very fortunate enough to have two of the top tourist locations in the state of Texas. In fact, fun fact, out of all the states in our country, we have the three most visited cities from tourism in the whole country. We beat California, Florida, definitely New York,
Yep.
and Illinois. You know what I mean, Illinois only has Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, New York has Manhattan. Florida got a couple of states, and California got their thing. But did you know that San Antonio, Houston, and Dallas combined bring in more tourism than any other state in the country?
That's amazing.
I'm
No, I wasn't aware of that.
telling you, bro, it's an
I believe it
amazing
though.
it's an amazing opportunity to be in the state of Texas doing whatever it is
Yeah, what
that
we're
is
doing.
on your mind, in your heart,
Exactly.
whatever idea you got going on, whatever
Yeah.
hustle you want to do. Always know this: work on the business side of it as much as you
Mm-hmm.
work on the actual, what I'm saying,
And
occupation of whatever that business is.
exactly. Let's go into that. So with the early stages, the beginning of the pandemic, other than getting adjusting to this new way of living, and at what point were you able to get your journal out and start jotting down ideas? Like what ideas, what products, what was your best moments during that time?
I had more time to do that. I'm always taking notes. Like,
Hmm.
um, I was laughing the other day. Um, I was
We,
cleaning
we,
my
we,
desk.
we, we can hear you, but the picture's getting a little blurry, Juan.
Oh, that's your vision, bro.
Yeah.
My bad. Um, I was able to do more of it. You know what I mean? Because I didn't have much else to do besides have fun with the kids,
Hmm.
cook breakfast, lunch, and dinner because I love cooking. Right, I was
Yes,
able
sir.
to do that, but I had more time to not just take notes, but to revisit tons of notes that I had taken in the last 2, 3, 4 years. Even found
Hmm.
stuff from 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago, and I
Oh,
was able to
wow.
look at that, and I was like, man, I got a book here. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
I can actually put something together just
Yep.
from my own testimony. Not to say that I know anything. Like it would be
Yeah.
more. It would be more of reading how many times Juan bumped his head and stubbed his
Hmm.
toe and fell on his ass than
Hmm.
any success. You know what I mean? To me, I've come to learn that success is not based on the reward. Success is actually based on how many times you get to actually play the game.
Yes, sir.
As long as I get to wake up and
Yep.
play another
You have another shot.
day of
As long as
life,
I got another
I'm good.
shot.
I'm
Yep.
successful. I'm happy.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? I might be at the end of the line, but at least
Yep.
I'm in the race.
I'm.
You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. Yep.
And that's the beautiful thing about life. I've come to enjoy that more than anything. It's the journey. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
It's the journey that makes everything so much more valuable. You know what I mean?
Yes,
Because
sir.
even when you see like right now we got the NBA finals,
Hmm.
right? The best part of watching the whole season is not watching them raise the trophy, but it's watching the whole season, the
Hmm.
journey of what it took them to get to that end. And the funny thing is, in a couple of months, they go back and do the same thing. So it
Hmm.
never ends, right? And
Yes,
for
sir.
us, it's a little bit different. There isn't a trophy that we get to raise at the
Hmm.
end of every season. In fact, there's small trophies on a daily basis. I mean, even if
That
it
we
has nothing to do
receive.
with earning, but hey, today
Yep.
I want to wake up and I want to do these things, and you do
Hmm.
them, then
That's your
those are those
reward.
small little victories
That's a
that
small
help you get
trophy.
there.
Small, yes, sir. Small little
So
victories.
so during all that time, I was able to slow down, smell the roses, drink some coffee, and enjoy it way more. Believe it or not, even though there was so much doubt, even though nobody knew when we were going to be allowed to get out of punishment and get out of our houses
Hmm.
again. You know what I'm saying? Instead of worrying about what I couldn't control, I
Hmm.
started concentrating on what I could control, and that's just making the best of every day for my family. I
Hmm.
mean, decreasing the stress and having more fun, enjoying day to day life.
Definitely, definitely. Yeah,
And
I
I'm
kind of
sorry for
took
the blurriness. It could be my Wi-Fi. There
Wi-Fi.
is
Yes.
I caught some Wi-Fi. Remember there used to be bars on the phone. There's no more bars
Yeah.
on the phone.
No more.
Speaking of bars, man, I saw some of your old videos when you were Namek.
The music videos.
Yeah, I was like, man, that's
Yeah.
that's a long time ago.
Yeah. Yeah. A
That
long
was when
time ago.
Fiesta was
Yeah.
still that was when Fiesta was still downtown.
I have yet to see anybody make a video like that during Fiesta. That's
But there's
something
no
that
more
we're.
Fiesta like that. That's why.
Yeah, and that's another thing. I don't think that it would ever be done like that. A San Antonio video. So that's something that we're very proud of, that we got to take advantage of that time. And,
I actually watched all of it, man. It's actually pretty cool to see. I mean, I've known you since you were like in high school, bro.
yeah, I was a
You know what
kid.
I mean?
Yeah, about 15 years old.
And now you're almost my age.
Oh man, yeah, about 33. I'm heading up there.
You know what I
Yes,
mean?
sir.
That's pretty amazing to see all your work. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's definitely been, now that I step back and look at it, it's definitely been a journey for me. I'm just, I don't take it for granted to have an entrepreneur mindset. Just, hustler ambition. Just the type of joy it gives me, just to wake up every day and just be of service, and just constantly thinking of, you know, uh, ideas of outside the box. And some people find it boring and corny and cliche, and I tell people it's not about the money. It's not wanting to be just rich and wealthy. It's not that. It's just the freedom that it comes with. The way it makes me feel, knowing that at the end of the day, I'm able to get the results that I want from the effort that I'm putting in.
Hey, but
And
it's not all you know what I'm saying? Uh, what's that saying goes about something in roses? I'm bad with these old sayings. It's not it's not all just fun and games.
oh yeah,
Like being an
and that's another
entrepreneur is
thing.
tough.
Yes, sir.
Like
And that's
how many times have you gone through moments where you know you're ready to jump out of your skin? It's stressful.
uh,
It's tough. Being an People always say I just want to be an owner, and I say if you take the
hmm
first three letters out of the word owner,
hmm
OWN, you're on your
hmm
own. It's a
yes, sir.
terrible place to be. There's
It
no one
is.
there to pat you on the back. No one
No.
there to tell you that you're doing a good job. I mean,
Yep.
and even the people that are around you, you eventually get to realize it's not their vision, it's yours, right? So I
Yes,
wouldn't
sir.
wish entrepreneurship on anybody. To me,
It's.
it's a
Hmm.
disease that you need a cure for. If
Yeah.
someone can create a pill to cure entrepreneurship, they should, because it's a very very bad thing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's all about
Let me
perspective.
ask you this,
Yes,
man.
sir.
Let me ask you this, Javi. If you could go back 15 years, right? What would you tell your old self?
Um, Put that down. There's a legit way to do it.
Stop smoking that.
You know what I mean? There's yeah, I mean, but yeah, I would definitely tell myself that, you know, but then again, it's fun to think that way, right? But I also feel like if we didn't go through those trials and tribulations, we wouldn't become the individuals that we are today. Um,
I used to think
from
that. I
you
used to
think
think
okay,
that. I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you. My wife asked me this the other day. She goes,
mm-hmm,
"If you could be young again, would you?"
uh-huh,
I said, "Could I take my mind that I have today back,
mm-hmm,
20 years?"
mm-hmm,
And she goes, "No." I said, "Then I wouldn't want to be part of any of that." You know what I
okay,
mean? One of the biggest things that uh, I will tell you, you hear a lot of people say, get woke. I'm like, it's
mm-hmm,
cool to understand your environment and who's around you and to realize
mm-hmm,
that, what people say they are, they most likely are not, right?
and yeah,
But
none of and none of
one of the
mm-hmm,
biggest transformations that I've had in my life is just becoming mature,
mm-hmm,
right? Maturity
yep,
has been the biggest part of my growth. So, to me, it's more about internal growth, getting to know
mm-hmm,
who you are and being happy with who you are instead
mm-hmm,
of, what I'm saying, trying to live a life that you're not about,
mm-hmm,
or trying to compare your life to someone else's success,
mm-hmm,
or where you're at in life to what other people are doing.
yep,
I'm okay with being Juan Gonzalez. I'm okay with
exactly,
having. Well, I'm actually in love with my silver beard. I'm okay
all
with
right,
having the silver hair. You know what I mean?
yeah, yep,
I'm okay with where I'm at in life. I'm not okay with the dumbass decisions that I made. I'm not
damn,
okay
yeah,
with the failures that I put myself through. It was pretty much like grabbing a gun and shooting
mm-hmm.
my own self.
Like some
Like, hell
on some
no,
Russian roulette stuff, like you
bro.
know,
You can never convince me that putting my hand in the fire was something that I needed to do to
yeah,
learn to become who I am today.
yeah,
All I had to
okay,
do was wise up, and I could have
yeah,
avoided all those mistakes. You know what I mean? So I
of
get
course,
it. I understand what you're saying, and I used to say the same thing.
mm-hmm.
But now it's really truly about being the best version of me.
Because now you have
Who the
more
hell?
clarity.
Who the
Because
hell
now
am
you have
I?
more clarity. Now you have more
Definitely.
clarity. Yeah, you have more clarity and you have more certainty that this is. I love who I am today because I agree with you 100%. Because even when you saw me as a young individual, when I was working at Urban City, and then I went off and I branched off, and you're like, hold on, I know who Dynamic was, I know who Hobby was, but who's this Namek
Bro,
guy?
I'm not gonna lie,
You
bro.
know what I mean? Like.
When you became Namek, I was afraid of you. I didn't want to see you in the dark alley.
You
I'm like,
know,
I don't
like,
want to mess
hold
with
on,
that dude.
that wasn't the guy that was treating my customers, with great customer service and folding our Urban City shirts in a specific way,
Nah,
and
man.
you know,
I was,
yeah, I definitely,
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying nothing negative about it, but it's funny how life and our decisions,
hmm
right, lead you down all these different paths,
yeah,
right? And there's some doors that we should never open.
hmm
You know what I mean? And there's some things that we should have never involved ourselves with.
exactly,
And ultimately, it's not just about building a brand or building a business. That if you want to
hmm
build a better brand and a better business,
hmm
then it starts with being empathetic
hmm
um, toward people, always considering them first. When
hmm
every single uh, motivational Instagram page, I mean, a lot of people are saying, hey, what I'm saying, take care of yourself first.
hmm
And that goes completely against what I believe. It's not
hmm
about me.
that's not,
It's not about me at all.
hmm
And when I took me out of the equation, then it was easier for me to start growing.
hmm
I became selfless instead of selfish. You know what I mean?
yes, sir.
So,
People make it so complex, and it's a very simple thing to do. It's once you stop thinking of what's in it for you or how much you're going to make or whatnot, and start being more of service and just do the work, just create. Too many people are focused on competing. Just focus on creating, focus on being of service, and that's where I realize I've gained the most. Um, success or small wins or and small victories. I've made the most money without worrying about how much money I'm going to make. I've gained more clientele and specific clientele, the clientele that appreciates my product, my service, than forcing it. You get what I'm saying? And I feel too many people are worried about what they're going to take out of life instead of what they're going to leave behind.
Yeah,
And
what's in
I
it for me?
exactly, it's always one what's in it for me, how much I'm going to make, if it's not worth my time, and it's they and then they wonder why they're lost or depressed or broke or sad or live a miserable life, and it's just again growth, being mature, putting pride and ego aside, especially with men. Putting that pride and
So
ego aside was a major thing for me.
so we're talking about the pandemic and the effects of that, right? Now let me
Hmm.
ask you this question in a different format, right?
Hmm.
Does it really matter if it was a pandemic or if tomorrow it's a tidal wave or the next day is a tornado or the next day is a market crash or the next day is some type of tragedy or some type of uprise or the
Hmm.
government, you know what I'm saying, completely takes over
Hmm.
or the government's overran? Does it really matter what's going on? Or is it more important about how we're going to deal with any situation, any adversity, anything that
Hmm.
comes, you know what I mean, that comes into our life, right? Whether
Hmm.
good or bad. It's like I've come to realize it's
Hmm.
the obstacle. It doesn't matter if the
It
obstacle is
doesn't
blue,
matter.
red, yellow, big, tall, you know what I'm
It
saying,
doesn't
wide.
matter.
It doesn't matter what the obstacle is. What
Hmm.
matters is how am I going to deal with the situation?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
But to
And
some
that's why I
people,
tell
it
you, like,
does matter
well, because,
because they need
it
an
does.
excuse. They need an excuse. They need an
Absolutely.
excuse. So to some people, it does matter. But
I
for
can I can make tons of them. You know what I mean? You can make tons
hmm
of them. In fact,
hmm
every single human on this planet can make all types of excuses.
hmm
But then I'll see someone with no legs, no arms,
hmm
a six pack, doing
hmm
chin up. You know what I'm saying?
yep,
Dude, like phenomenal
yep.
story. You know what I'm
I
saying?
mhm.
Like
I tell
who
people
am I
that
to
all the
ever? You
time.
know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Who am I to ever complain about a limp
Hmm.
when I walk. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Instead of complaining about the limping when I walk because I got some bad knees, you know, I was
Yeah.
celebrating. I was like, that's just my pimp walk.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you start to embrace it. This the same thing. The thing that I can speak on recently is the passing of my mother. On the 19th this month will be 5 months since I
Man,
lost my mom to COVID. And I could have chose to take it, two different ways. I could have completely taken it all the way left or stayed directly on my path and embrace you know, why I still can't comprehend why it happened. I can't fathom that she's no longer physically here, but I now have more of a vivid image of how limited, how time is very limited here on Earth, and so it just puts a lot of things more into perspective for me. And I could have made an excuse,
oh
my
yeah,
my
definitely.
and this all goes back to entrepreneurship, even just being not just a business owner, just being the individual that I have become today, the individual that you are today. People don't see the behind the scenes. People don't understand the moments of, in a sunken place, depression, suicidal thoughts, in the past when I was younger, battling an addiction, and now dealing with the loss of my mother. How do I overcome that mentally, emotionally, spiritually? How it's been a battle for me,
It is
and,
because
and
first of all, condolences to you and your family. You know what I mean? I too lost my dad
mhm,
last summer. Right,
mhm,
my siblings have all taken it differently. Some
mhm,
harder than others. and some like are stuck somewhere. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And why they are where they are, like only they know, right?
Mhm.
But one of the things that I knew that I couldn't do or I couldn't be is, first of all, let me tell you what I had to do. I had to be strong for my mom.
Of
She lost
course.
her partner of over
Mhm.
50 years.
Mhm.
One, right? Two, I had to be strong for my brothers and sisters.
Mhm.
Did it hurt? Hell yeah. Like,
Yep.
it's weird. First of all, my dad lived till he was 77, and people are like, hey,
Mhm.
well, at least he lived till he was 77. Here's the thing: I wasn't ready for him to go.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? He had fought cancer, got the surgery, was good, but then all these other complications came from
Mhm.
having to lose half of his gallbladder and half of his spleen
Mhm.
and a bunch of stuff removed and part of his intestine and part of his stomach. You know what I'm saying? Like, then all these other problems came. He couldn't eat, he couldn't hold anything down. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
He started withering away, and we still held on to hope that he would get
Mhm.
past this, like if it was just an illness, not
Mhm.
knowing that he was just closer and closer to his deathbed. He went
Yeah.
from looking like he was 70 years old to 99 years old in a matter
Mhm.
of 6 months. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And the strangest thing is, yes, you miss them, right? But it's not the same kind of miss them, because when
Mhm.
someone leaves for a couple of days or a couple of
Mhm.
weeks or a couple of hours and you miss them, you
Mhm.
know you're going to see them again.
Exactly.
But it's almost like I have all these memories, but it's almost like, did they ever even exist? Because where are they?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So you have
Mhm.
all these issues that you have to deal with. But here's the most
Mhm.
important reason why you can't go far left, right? You're a dad. You're a young
Mhm.
dad right now.
Mhm.
You have kids. You have
Mhm.
to be able to show your kids, when my time comes, you're going to have to be strong for your siblings. You're going to have to be strong for yourself. You're going to have to overcome this, because
Mhm.
all this is part of life,
Yep.
right? Like, my dad lived a long and fulfilled life.
Mhm.
He was young. He became a husband. He became a father. He became a grandfather. And even past his death, is still teaching me on the importance of being a stand up guy,
Yep.
a hard worker, and why you should always be responsible and take care of things before your day comes.
Yep.
I mean, the most beautiful thing that I can tell you that my dad gave me is that we didn't have to do a plate sale for him, because he had shit in order. You know what I mean? And
Yep.
I'm not knocking anybody who does
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. Of course.
my dad said, I'm not gonna put you guys through that.
Yep.
I'm gonna handle this. And when my time comes, this is how it's gonna go. You know what I mean? I was
Yep.
like, man, and this is a guy with third grade education, crossed the border
Mhm.
illegally 3 times, you know what I'm saying, became a
Mhm.
naturalized citizen, and said to me when I graduated high school, he goes, I can't teach you nothing about college, but I can
Yeah.
tell you this: whether you decide to go to school or you decide to work, whichever one you decide, make sure you go hard. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yes, sir.
So, it's all part of life, and you're right. We get to choose how we want to live it. We get to make an excuse,
Mhm.
or we strap our boots on, hold on to God, and keep
Mhm.
moving forward.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? Because we can
Yep.
still, even though we miss them, we can still celebrate them with those
Mhm.
memories and remember
Exactly.
all those jokes and all those cooked meals, and you know what I mean,
Mhm.
and anything and every experience, good or bad.
Mhm.
The first ass whooping that my dad gave me was the
Yeah.
last ass whooping that he gave me. I think it took me about 2 weeks to wake up. You know what I mean? And when I woke up, I was still, saying
Yeah.
sobbing.
Yeah, definitely. That's definitely what I think about are the memories and the lessons that my mom left behind. And the day of her service, I had without even doing it intentionally or anything like that. I feel like she would have been surprised at the amount of people that showed up to her service because my mom would always say that she doesn't know what her purpose is and whatnot. But her main thing was the reason why I am today with business and in life in general is to be of service to everybody. Like
Absolutely. Like,
she impacted my friends in a major way, family members, individuals that we haven't seen in years. And again, it's cliche to say as well that we don't see, certain family members, distant family members, friends, unless someone, passes away, unless someone dies. But it was a beautiful day, a beautiful service and then for my mom to really see that she really did have purpose here on earth. And not only that, because even prior, before her illness, before she got COVID and the pneumonia spread it all through her lungs, she was fighting a certain type of cancer,
Mm-hmm.
and she had surgery and a tumor removed from her chest. And so we did everything possible to keep her healthy, keep her safe, and of God just had other plans and for her. But definitely those memories and the strength that she had is something that I remember and I keep with me every single day. That it's hard, and that's another thing. Having excuses, complaining, going completely left. I mean, we can all go there, but the choice of wanting to be happy, wanting to pull through the adversity, and if there's not if we can't change a certain problem, then we change the way we feel about the problem, and just maneuvering, right? Just like a boxer, you're trying to hit and not get hit. That's the art of boxing. That's the name of the sport, the sweet science. And I feel life is constantly trying to jab at you, and you're constantly having to slip or move or duck or roll and counter.
Well, like in any sport, right?
Yep.
Who's the one that wins? It's the one who makes the
The,
best
the,
adjustments.
yeah, the adjustments. Yes.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Definitely.
So we started talking about the pandemic, and we're talking about a small, what I'm saying, point in our lives, right? Eventually, well, obviously, it becomes a memory, and a lot of us who were around, including our kids, are going to remember this. I'm sure the same way that what I mean. A lot of people remembered, young and old, the bombing at Pearl Harbor, or World
Hmm.
War II, or World
Hmm.
War One, or the Vietnam War. Right?
Yep.
Like, you can go back in history, and far back as 50 to 100 to 200 years, right? Or as far back as 2 years ago. The main thing that I'm trying to say is that we understand what the purpose of life is. It's a test. It's a
Hmm.
test given to us by God to
Hmm.
see if we're worthy to
Hmm.
live with God eternally after, you know, we're done with life here, right? So, to me, whether people choose to believe or not to believe, or care to believe, or even care to entertain it, right?
Yeah.
That's totally their prerogative. If God
Exactly.
is not forcing you to believe in Him, I'm not going to force you to believe in
Yeah.
Him. I mean, like, that's
Exactly.
your thing. All I'm
Hmm.
saying is, I'm sharing my testimony.
Hmm.
I
And that's
mean,
all we can
I
do.
went
We all
from,
have a story.
being a knucklehead to coming to realize that I was a knucklehead, and then
Hmm.
doing something about it, right? And it all
Yep.
happened with God, because of God, and really, honestly, because of the most important person in my life. You know what I'm saying? My wife, which,
Hmm.
the truth, I don't even deserve her, right? So ultimately, at the end of the
Yep.
day, it is my responsibility to continue to always become better at being Juan Gonzalez, a man, a father, a son, a brother, a friend. You know what I'm saying? Um, and anything else that anybody wants to entitle me as, right? The one thing that I don't never be part of is, I don't ever want to be part of something negative. Now,
Yeah.
there are some people who still might say, "Oh, Juan is like this or Juan is like that." Hey, I'm
Hmm.
gonna tell you this: I get to choose who I want around me, just
Yeah.
like anybody else does. And if
Yep.
if you're problematic, and you're too difficult, and you're dangerous, and you're
Hmm.
disrespectful, there's no time nor energy that I want to spend on you. So I'd rather
Exactly.
say goodbye. You
Yep.
know what I mean? And move
Yep.
forward. There's
Yes,
nothing that you
sir.
can say that's going to offend me or disrespect me because your opinion of me matters nothing. The only opinion that matters to me is what do I think about myself?
Mm-hmm.
How do my family see me, my wife and my
Mm-hmm.
kids?
Mm-hmm.
And am I being exactly who I say I'm being to those around me? I don't
Correct.
ever want to be. I don't ever want to be someone who contradicts himself. I don't ever
Mm-hmm.
want to be, you know what I'm saying, a liar. I don't ever want to be, you know what I mean, anything that I ever was. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? There might be some people say, "Oh, Juan's still this or Juan's still that." You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Then you haven't talked to me in a long time, right?
That's none of your business. They're entitled to their opinion. All that
Right.
really matters is what is how you're moving nowadays. You know, and like you
Exactly.
said, how you feel about yourself. And
Because
as long as
I know this for a fact. You know that you're not the same person that you were. You know what I'm saying?
a
5 years
hundred and
ago,
ten,
10 years
a
ago,
hundred,
15
a
years
hundred,
ago, 20 years ago, right?
110%, and I feel the more confident and you know the more I'm evolving and becoming the individual that I am today, the more I had shared this in one of my videos is people confuse confidence with cockiness and sharing your successes as bragging and boasting. But in reality, we all have a story and we're all just trying to, you know, share it and express it in hopes of just like we're doing now. This is information, this is content, this is us sharing our perspective and experiences in hopes of inspiring others. Maybe we can, you know, change someone else's lives. And that's me, in my opinion, of my way of being of service and contributing to others. You know, just to simplify that. I believe
Well,
we
yeah,
have
you
about
know,
I believe we have about 2 or 3 more minutes, Juan, just so we can kind of narrow down whatever it is you want to you know let out for the last 3 minutes.
um, this is what I'm gonna say. I said it to my son earlier. Um, don't ever try to compare your life with someone else's life, right? Because it's an unfair judgment of yourself.
Hmm.
Always do what you say. You don't have to promise. I mean, you don't have to guarantee. Um, continue to grow in becoming a better person, right? And as long as you do that on a daily basis, you've already achieved success,
You
right?
already won.
For that day. The next
Hmm.
day, you got to do it better.
Do it
The
again.
following
Yep.
day, you got to do it better.
Do it
And
better. Yep.
here's the crazy thing about it. If there's ever a day where you fall short, dust yourself off and get back up.
Because that's
You know,
inevitable. It's gonna happen.
right? Uh, If you haven't prayed in a long time, if you haven't got to know God on a personal
Hmm.
level, call
Hmm.
out to Him. He's always
Hmm.
waiting. He's
Yep.
always ready to build that relationship
Hmm.
with you. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Of anything that I can share with anyone is, you know, we all have responsibilities, right? There's two responsibilities or three responsibilities that I have in life, and that's to become the man that God has designed me to be,
Hmm.
to love, respect, and treat my family uh, with all due respect, and give them the best of me, and to give the professional side of my life the same thing. Those three things. So anything else, I just don't have any time for. I don't
Yes,
have
sir.
time to go and hang out with people that have nothing to do
Hmm.
with who I
What you
am
got
and
going
what I'm
on?
trying
Hmm.
to achieve. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So
Yes,
I
sir.
limit myself to those things. I appreciate talking to you because it's amazing to see you go from a young man, a teenager. You know, I can say this now, a kid, to someone who's had to deal with a lot of things in his life, and just for you to be able to share some of the things that you've shared with me, you know what I'm saying? To me, it's an honor that you would even uh, be willing to open up and talk to me. And you know, I'll say this to you and to anybody. Don't ever give up. Don't ever get discouraged. Always pray and keep moving forward.
Yes, sir. That's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. Um, but I think maybe about 2 more minutes. Did you have any questions for me? I know that's probably a new thing I'm going to start doing in case the guest has or have any questions for
Yes,
me.
if I need a vehicle washed, where do I contact you? What is your Instagram? What's your phone number? How do we hit you up for an appointment? And when is the first product launch for Hobby's Car Wash going to come out? That's the only
Real
thing that I want to know.
real simple. Uh, you can find me on Google, Hobbies Mobile Car Wash, or Google Mobile Car Wash. And honestly, I've worked my way up to the first page of Google, and anywhere of town, any part of town. It doesn't matter where you're at. Mobile Car Wash,
Congratulations.
mobile detailing, and
Congratulations.
I appreciate that. It was very very difficult learning how to do
Yep.
the search engine optimization
Yep.
all on my own,
Yep.
building my way up organically. It was very 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 hard. But I'm grateful. I'm thankful to the point where I am today, where I can honestly say that I mean, I've always been grateful. I'm blessed, but business is definitely going very well for me. But yes, Hobbies Mobile Car Wash .com, and you can book your appointment there. And the product, I'm gonna have to, once we get off, we're gonna talk about that. We can partner up
You need to do it. You
because
know why you need to do it?
yes, sir.
Because you talked about it last time
Hmm.
that you were out here getting my truck all nice and brand new
Yes,
again,
sir.
right? And it's just to me, I think an added revenue stream for what
Yes,
I
sir.
think and what I believe that you should have, because I will never go anywhere to buy some Armor All wipes unless I'm somewhere and I remember that I need some Armor All wipes. So if I
Hmm.
call you and ask you to come wash my vehicle, and you say, "Hey, I noticed that you don't have any antibacterial wipes. It's really good for the dash, and it's good to
Hmm.
clean your steering wheel after so and so and so and so, and you can
Hmm.
disinfect it." Da 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 da. I'll be like, "Okay, let me get one." You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying? So
definitely.
I want you to really truly think about that seriously. You've
I
always
will.
been into merchandise and products, right?
Yes.
And I
Yes, sir.
believe that you should revisit that with this newfound business of yours that has brought you much success. I know it's been a lot of work
Hmm.
and you've concentrated on building it. Keep building, keep growing it, add the products. You're going to see that it was something that it needed all along. And then you're going
Yes,
to get
sir.
super excited. And all of a sudden, you know what I'm saying? You might see them at your local Advanced Auto Parts.
Yes, sir. And then again, don't be surprised why I give you so much credit for my success.
All I want is a box of it once a month.
I got
All right,
you.
delivered at the store. I mean, at the door here in the at the front door. There you go. Sorry about
Yes,
that.
sir.
But other than that, man, it's always a pleasure. I mean,
Yes,
I love
sir.
talking to you
Likewise.
because to me, it's just us catching back up and seeing where we're at. I mean,
Yes, sir.
again, even like I said, and you know that it's for real. When I saw you celebrating your dad's birthday, I said, "Hey, tell pops I said happy birthday." You
Yeah,
know what I'm
and
saying?
he definitely said hello, and he appreciate that as well. And again, sir, humbly, I appreciate your time. Thank you for honestly sticking by my side for all these years, always being a mentor, being someone that I can idolize, and I
No,
honestly,
no, don't idolize me. I ain't nobody to idolize. What I will tell
uh,
you is this: anytime, I'm here for
yeah,
you.
I know,
You you
I
you
know,
you can send me a question. You can give me a call. You know I'm always going to answer your
yes,
call,
sir,
brother. You know what I'm
yes,
saying?
sir.
So I appreciate
But
you.
let me definitely say this: you're one of San Antonio's pioneers, and you're one of San Antonio's goats, and that no can't nobody take that away from you. Period.
Is it because I look like a goat?
Yes, sir. It could be. It could be. But I appreciate
I
you,
I
Don
I,
Juan. Yes, sir.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much. God bless. Continue to move forward. Uh, uh, Continue to grow. Continue to build. And you know what I'm saying. The most important thing in life, you know what I'm saying, is just being the best version of yourself for all your loved ones. I mean, always remember that. Thank you. God bless. Stay fresh. I'm gonna go eat some chilaquiles. Peace.
Nice. Bye, sir. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir.